Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I've got an image in my head about a creation that I want to make and I want to get it onto canvas. I don't know if it's going to work, but as always we're just going to see if I can get this idea from here onto here. I have an embroidery hoop. I have some toilet paper folded up into this shape. I've also got my hairdryer. I have, I'll just get it, my palette knife. And I've got an array of colours and I'm going to tell you more in a minute. But first of all, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for supporting me week on week. I really appreciate your support and I'm really grateful for you allowing me the freedom to just create and explore and showcase how I make my creations. And I'm also really grateful for the people that reach out to me either through email or messages in the video to kind of talk about their creativity, because I'm always interested to hear about how you're getting on as well. So if you want to reach out to me, drop me an email or put comments down below in the video. I read and respond to everyone. So let's get on with this painting and I'm going to show you how to create something really special, because I know I've got a feeling that what I've got up here will be able to go onto the canvas, because we're going to go through this step by step together. So if you try it, I would love to see it as well. Without further ado, you know what we say. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so I have an A1 shaped canvas. It's just a standard canvas, so a smaller edge. I've not prepared it in any way. It comes fully primed, so that's ready to go. I've got my embroidery hoop. This is a wooden embroidery hoop. You can get these from any kind of haberdashery shop, Amazon, but just type in embroidery hoop and you'll see some options. And then I've got my colour palette, so here we go. Let me just bring you around here. So I've got a Paynes grey and a gold, and they're the two colours that I really want to put on the surface area. And then I've got some multicolours, some greens, some red, some magenta, oranges, blue and a yellow. And that's what I'm sticking with for this one. It's going to be very colourful. I've got an idea how I want to do a different kind of edge around the canvas using the black and the gold, but I'll go through each of those details one by one. But remember, all of these colours are listed in the description box below, along with the brand of paint, my recipe and the ratios that I use. But today it's just a paint and water combination, and you can see here the consistency of that paint just trickles off the spatula back into the cup. But I'll talk more about all the ratios, give you hints and tips throughout the video, so stick with me and let's create this together. So this part of the process is all about the base coat. So I'm going to use the Paynes grey and a gold. So I'm going to start off with the Paynes grey, and then I'm going to use my palette knife to spread the paint out across that middle section. And then the idea is to then use the gold to go around the edges. You'll see how I do that shortly, but let's start off with this Paynes grey and just spread that across the canvas. So I'm now going to add the gold, and I'm just going to place that towards the edge of the Paynes grey that I've already spread out across the canvas. So I'm now going to spread that gold out towards the outer edge of the canvas and also take along some of that Paynes grey with me. So now for the embroidery hoop, I'm just going to drop that in the centre of the canvas. I'm just going to press it down slightly just so that paint can kind of connect with the hoop, and it almost acts as like a vacuum, just so when I layer the paints on the outer edge of the embroidery hoop, that doesn't spill into the middle section. That just acts as a vacuum and a barrier when we're doing our paints. So I'm now going to take one colour at a time, and I'm going to layer the paints around that embroidery hoop on the outer edge. I've gone for a solid line of that red all the way around the hoop, and then I'm just going to add another colour in certain sections of that circle. And you can see here I've started off with the blue, then the green, and then I'm going to just use all those other colours by placing them next to the red around that hoop. So that's all my colours down, and now it's about the swiping fun. So as you know, I'm using toilet paper. I've folded the toilet paper up into smaller widths, and the idea now is to drag the paint that I've layered around the hoop to the outer edge, taking with me the Paynes grey and the gold. So when I dip the toilet paper into the paint, I just allow that paint to soak up into that paper, and then I just slowly drag the paper from the middle to the outer edge. I don't apply too much pressure. I just allow that paper to soak up the paint, and as it soaks up that paint and it drags and glides from one side to another, it drags that paint along with it. And I'm going to repeat this process, so I do a swipe all the way around this embroidery hoop before I remove the hoop itself. Again, it's just about creating those lines, going from the centre to the outer edge. Once I've done those initial swipes, I then reduce the width of the paper again and go around filling in the gaps, just swiping from the middle to the outer edge until I've gone round that whole hoop itself. And as you can see, we've got that colour burst from the middle going towards the edges. I've removed the hoop, and I'm going to take you in now for a close-up of the wet version, but I'm going to transform this even more. I'm happy with the middle section, but I almost want to do another technique now over the top of this, but I need to wait for it to dry. Can you guess what I'm going to do? Pop it in the comments before the video continues, just to let me know if you know what I think I'm going to do in my own mind. I've done it with a previous creation and I loved the effect, and I think this is what this one needs as well. Anyway, I'm going to let this dry and then you'll see what we do next. Okay guys, I've come outside. It's a cold, wet day if I'm honest, but it's stopped raining, so I've quickly come outside because I'm going to be using spray paint. I've got a silver spray paint. I've covered up some of that middle section, but I haven't taped it down because I want some of that spray paint to go underneath the paper. I kind of had this vision in my mind how I want it to look, and I've done this before and it's worked. So I'm just going to continue spraying around the edges. I want to cover the full sides. I'm going to cover all those edges. But what I love is that misty effect that's going to happen across that canvas as well. So as I say, I haven't taped off the paper that I've laid on top, because as I spray, it's going to slightly lift and some of that spray is going to go underneath. But that's just going to almost create that misty effect as well. So once I've done this, I'm going to go back into my studio, uncover, take that paper off and show you the result. So I've finished spraying and here we go. So this is the effect, and I've got to be honest, I really love it. I love that mystery with it, and to me it does look like an eye, almost like a colourful golden universe burst, but using that eye effect, looking deep either into the universe or into the soul. You let me know what you think. I don't want to force what I think on you. I would love to hear what you think as well. So drop them in the comments below. But I've had so much fun with this piece, and I'm going to definitely explore doing more of these with the swipe and that misty effect around the edge with the spray paint. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had fun. I know I have. I've had lots of fun experimenting, painting, and using different techniques all in one creation. I'm going to leave you now with a close-up of all these details. But again, a big thank you to each and every one of you for joining me today. And whatever you're up to creatively, I hope you're having fun. And I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care, everyone. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye.